Hello everybody, it's me Will, and I'm back with another new video, and this is gonna be an all new vinyl update. Finally trying to catch up on my vinyl videos or my vinyl pickup videos. I've been picking up a lot of really great new releases in the last couple of months. Some of them are record store pickups, some of them are online orders, some of them are pickups from the merch table from a show that I went to see in the last couple of months. But all of them are brand new releases. I think I'm going to show you 6 records in this video. 5 of those are from this year, from 2023. Only one of them is from last year in 2022, so fairly new releases. But before getting started, I wanted to give a quick shout out to a YouTuber called Andre, and he runs a channel called Worth It or Not. I'm going to put a link here in the description. He does not have a VC channel. Actually, his channel is not really even about music. He runs a channel where he is essentially tech reviews. So he buys a lot of gadgets to make YouTube videos and he reviews them. And at the end of the video, he tells you if that product is worth it or not. Really great YouTube channel. I've learned a lot about the technical aspect of making YouTube videos from his channel. And a few weeks ago, he actually ran a contest in his channel. And guess what? I ended up winning that contest. I signed up and I won, which is really strange because I very rarely will win any kind of contests. But anyways, this is what I won. Really nice microphone, wireless microphone. This is the Joby Wavo Air. Wireless microphones that you can use to connect essentially the microphones with a camcorder, what I use for my videos. Or you can also use them for your cell phones or for your computers. But you can connect wirelessly to your camera. Great product. Actually, this is what I'm using right now to make this video. So you should hear a little bit of an improvement in the sound. This is what I was using before, which is a similar product, but it's all wired. And as you can see, it was always a mess to try to untangle this thing every time I wanted to make a video. And it does have a lavalier connection or a lavalier clip here at the end, which you can hook up to your shirt. This one's kind of similar, but it is done wirelessly. So it's fantastic because I don't have to be attached to anything. So thank you to Andre again. His channel is called Worth It or Not. And I'll put a link here in the description. All right, so let's talk some music and let's show you some vinyl. Let's start with this one. This is the newest record from Bully, and this one's called Lucky For You, and it came out just a few months ago in 2023 on Sub Pop Records. And there's the back, the track list. This one came in with the inner sleeve with the lyrics, the words, and I believe this is the limited edition version of the vinyl, which came in on really nice color vinyl, kind of like a marbled white, brown, and black vinyl. Looks great. It sounds great as well. It's great pressing. I picked this record up at her show when she played here in Atlanta a few months ago. She actually ended up opening for the Pixies when in their latest tour. And it was Bully as well as Franz Ferdinand. So a fantastic lineup on that concert. But anyways, Bully, this is their 4th studio album, and Bully is essentially the solo project of this artist called Alicia Bognano, and they're from Nashville. If you have been watching my channel or my videos for a couple of years or more than a few years, you will know I'm a big fan of Bully. In fact, all of their previous records, their first 3 records, ended up making it to my top 10 albums of the years that they came out in. That's how big of a fan I am of Bully. And this record, I believe, it may be their strongest record. I really love this one. It feels like every record that they come up with is better than the previous one. And this one is no exception. Alternative rock, very leaning into the punkier side maybe, a little bit of indie rock. Really catchy guitars. The vocals from Alicia, she has kind of like the traditional scratchy rock and roll vocals. I guess a little bit influenced in Nirvana, but her music is also very melodic. And this one, I believe, it may be her most accessible record since their first album. Love this album, fantastic. This may be one of my favorite albums of the year. We'll find out at the end of the year when I do my countdown video. but definitely check out the new one from Bully. Especially the songs, the single from this album was Days Move Slow, which I believe it may be a pandemic song, especially with that title. All I Do, the opening track is great. Hard to Love is fantastic. And there's one song near the end that's called Miss America. So much emotion in that track, fantastic. All right, next new record, how about some grilling? This is Sincere Engineer with their newest album called Cheap Grills. Love the title and I love the cover picture in this one. Check out that dad bod. I love it. And this one came out just a few months ago in 2023 on Hopeless Records. This is I ended up buying this one on their Bandcamp page. But I did go to see them live a few weeks ago, and they were fantastic. Inner sleeve with some additional pictures and the lyrics. And the record came in on neon yellow vinyl. I don't know if you can see it there very well, but it looks great when it's on the turntable. Custom labels. Anyways, Sincere Engineer is a pop punk / punk rock band from Chicago, and this is their third studio album. The lead singer of the band is a woman called Diana Bellows. Similar in style as, I guess, in the vocals as the record that I showed you before with Bully. Very scratchy, raspy vocals, very rock and roll type of vocals. But when it comes to the music, this is very pop punky. Think about bands like bands from the Warped Tour. That's the kind of style that they play. They would fit in very well if the Warped Tour was still around. Very melodic type of punk. And again, this is their third studio album, and this is another band where I think that every record that they release is just better than the previous record. This record is excellent, and I do believe this is also their strongest record. One of the main criticisms that I have with pop punk bands is that they will rarely try something new. They usually stick to their same formula, and in some cases it works well, but I do like it when they try something different. And although they're staying with the same type of pop punk sound in this new record, you can hear some different instruments here and there in this record, especially in the track, one of the singles from the album called Library of Broken Bindings, which I don't know if it's kind of like some kind of reference to Boulevard of Broken Dreams. I'm not really sure. But yeah, this is great. If you know my type of music, kind of indie rock with a mix with great pop punk, you will know that this is right up my alley. All right, so let's stick with some more pop punk. You know I love pop punk, so I had to buy a couple of pop punk records. How about the new record from MXPX? The classic pop punk band is back with another new record. This one's called Find a Way Home. And it came out just a few months ago in 2023, and it was a self-release by the band. They are not in any more labels anymore. They just self-released their records, starting since their last album from 2018, or their previous album. And I was so impressed with the last record that they released in 2018, the self-titled record. It made one of my top 10 albums of that year when it came out. I decided to go ahead and pre-order the vinyl of the new record when it was announced. And I ended up getting the exclusive limited edition version of the record, which comes in with really great packaging, with this die-cut design here in the cover. And it comes with a couple of different inserts here, which you can change to make your own type of cover, or you can design it however you want. So you can make it look like that, or you can change it, and it comes with a couple of different inserts as well. Like this one with the comic book style with the Pokinacha Punk, the MXPX mascot. and the lyrics in the other side, and it also comes in with an inner sleeve. I believe this is the regular album cover in case you buy it on the standard version of the record or on CD. And the version of vinyl that I got was, again, the exclusive version of it. And it comes in with really cool red, black, and a little bit of white splatter vinyl and the custom labels. Great looking record again. But anyways, yeah, MXPX is back after what I call their comeback album, which was the self-titled release from 2018. Again, a fantastic record. This record is in the same line as the previous record. Similar to what I was saying before when it comes to the pop-punk bands, there's a lot of bands that really stick to what they know best, and this is that kind of band. MXPX is that kind of band for sure. And I have no problem with that, because every year, every time they come up with a new record, it just seems to be better than the previous one, and their melodies just are so addicting to me. I grew up with this kind of music. MXPX is a band from the 90s. This is actually their 14th studio album. They played several times at the Warped Tour. I saw them in the Warped Tour many times. So it is really right up my alley. Mike Herrera, the singer in this band, he is really capitalizing on that kind of emo and pop-punk scene or vibe that is starting to come back now in the 2020s. Because MXPX, I believe, was one of the best pop-punk bands out there, and I think they're still putting out some excellent new records. And again, this one is no exception. The melodies in this one are just so great.
I won't desert you, I'll stay up with you all night. I'll stay up all night. I'll stay up all night.
All right, so let's move on to the next record. And I think you may be able to tell what kind of theme we're going for here. But how about some punk rock from Rancid? And this is their newest record called Tomorrow Never Comes. And it came out just a few weeks ago on Hellcat, which is a subsidiary of Epitaph Records of Bad Religion. But yeah, the 10th studio album from the punk band from Berkeley. And I ordered this version, which is the kind of like an exclusive or a limited version of the record that was sold only by a website called Brooklyn Vegan, which had a limited pressing of the record on very pink vinyl. I don't know if you can tell there how pink this record is. The camera may not give it enough justice, but it is a very pink record with the Hellcat labels. But anyways, it was limited to only 500 copies. I was glad to grab a copy of that because it sold out pretty quick. Came in also with a nice inner sleeve with the credits and the same picture from the album cover. And it also came in with a pretty big poster. I don't think it is full size, but it is square and pretty big. It has the same picture again from the album cover with the mugshots of the band members. Again, 10th studio album from Rancid. The punk rock band from Berkeley is back again with a new record. And I always get excited when Rancid releases a new record because I grew up listening to them back in the 90s, especially when they released that fantastic and classic record, And Out Come the Wolves from 1994, I think. It is actually one of my favorite albums of all time. Fantastic record. So ever since then, when Rancid puts out something new, I will at least listen to it fully. Now, the last few records that they have been releasing, I would say the last 2 or the last 3 have not been great. They have definitely tried to try something new in their sound, and in my opinion, it didn't work very well. I believe the best record from that run was the record Indestructible, which was great. But again, that record came out several years ago already, back in the early 2000s. This, I think, is kind of like a coming back to form type of record for Rancid. Definitely going back to their classic Rancid sound from the 90s, from the mid to late 90s. So a little bit of a harder type of punk, fast-paced. But I do think that this is a good Rancid record. Perhaps the best record since Indestructible. Is it a great record? I don't think so. I think it's good. It's just not Rancid level good, especially from if you compare them to the records from the 90s. Those records are really going to be really hard to beat. But anyways, there's a lot of really cool songs in this one. Especially the songs, the title or the single from this record, "Tomorrow Never Comes," is a fantastic punk rock song. Don't make me do it. Love that track. Super short song, just right up to the point. Great punk rock song. "Live Forever" is a fantastic song. "Prisoner Song," Magnificent Rogue has a great guitar at the very beginning of the track. "Hellbound Train," great vocals from Lars and from Tim. This record is just a fun record. Are there some okay or mediocre songs here and there? Yes, there are a couple of stinkers in here, I think. But overall, it's still a really solid album from Rancid. I'm glad that I picked it up on vinyl.
Tell me about tomorrow, 'cause tomorrow never come. Gonna cheat, steal and borrow, 'cause tomorrow never come.
All right, let's move on to the next record, about a new one from Speedy Ortiz. And this one's called Rabbit Rabbit. And it came out just a few weeks ago in 2023 on Wax 9 Records. Newest record from the indie rock band from Massachusetts. This is their 4th studio album. Came in with a nice gatefold here. Some fun pictures. Or actually, this may be some illustrations. And the credits. I believe all the artwork in this record was done by the lead singer and leader of the band, Sadie Dupois. She's a great artist. Came in with insert with all the lyrics. And in this side you get some pictures of the band recording the record. Really cool pictures as well. You can see them in the studio, you can see them outside the studio as well. Love to see that behind the scenes. I pre-ordered this one, I believe. Can't remember if I pre-ordered it, but I did get the green version of the vinyl. It's not exactly green, I guess. It does have a little bit of white in the center. And this other side is fully green with the custom labels. Again, the 4th studio album from the indie rock band from Massachusetts. If you watch my videos, if you have been watching them for a few years, you know I'm a big fan of Speedy Ortiz and of Sat 13, also known as Sadie Dupois, the singer in the band. She also has her own solo project that is a little bit more pop-oriented type of music. This one is her full band project, so lots of really great guitars in this one. And the guitars are amazing in this record, very consistent to the last or the previous Speedy Ortiz records. In fact, the guitars are very complex. I'm not a guitar player, but I can tell that the guitar parts in this record, and actually all the Speedy Ortiz albums, may be very difficult to play. And that was confirmed, I guess, for me, because Rolling Stone magazine just came up with a new article where they were listing the top 250 guitar players of all time, and Sadie Dupois or Speedy Ortiz was listed as one of those 250 greatest guitar players among some iconic guitar players out there. So that's a really great compliment for Sadie Dupois, and I think you can tell by listening to this record. Very indie rock, very pop-oriented type of indie rock with great guitars. Again, I really need to highlight the guitars in this one. I think it's the highlight of the record, as well as the very great vocals from Sadie in the new album. I'm not sure, I'm not very good at decoding what the lyrics are about in any of the Speedy Ortiz records, because the lyrics are so complex and difficult to understand what she's trying to say. I don't know if it's a concept album or not, but I have a feeling it's just a personal record. It may be a pandemic album as well, because there's a few references to TV watching on some of the title tracks. For example, Kim Cattrall, as well as You Season Number 2, which is spelled like that, USO2. Pretty much side A in this record is nearly perfect. Kim Cattrall, You Season 2, Scabs, Plus One, Cry Cry Cry. There's a song called Cry Cry Cry, which is fantastic, where the band adds on some choir type of sounds, which give it a little bit of an operatic type of vibe throughout the track. It's really weird, and I love it. I love that track. The Ballad of Y&S, fantastic. This record is awesome. It's gonna be probably in my top 10 albums of 2023. The closing track in this record is a banger of a track, Ghost Rider. Check it out. Check out the entire record. It's hard for me to recommend one track out of this record because it's just full with great new music, with great tracks. All right, and the last record that I have for you for this video is actually a compilation. This is a compilation called Sellout Songs, and it came out last year in 2022 on Major Label Records. It's a completely made up name for a record label. It is an indie label, but it's just called Major Label Records. And it is a compilation of 9 tracks. And they are all cover songs, and they are essentially the soundtrack for a book that came out last year as well. It was a book called Sellout, the major label feeding frenzy that swept punk, emo, and hardcore from 1994 to 2007. You can see the title right there. I did read that book last year, and I do believe I reviewed it in my channel last year. It is essentially a book written by Dan Ozzi, great writer, where he explains the story behind the major label debut albums from punk and emo bands from back in the 90s and the early 2000s, when essentially after Nirvana was so successful in the 90s, major labels were spending a ton of money to try to find the next Nirvana. And they were booking bands like crazy, especially in punk scenes. And some of them were very successful, like Green Day, and some of them were not successful at all commercially, like Jawbreaker. So he tells the story of several bands, including Green Day, Blink-182, Jawbreaker, The Distillers, Jimmy Eat World, At the Drive-In, My Chemical Romance, Against Me, Thursday, and a couple more. It's a great book, by the way, in case you haven't checked it out. And this record has, again, 9 tracks, all of them cover songs from bands that are included in the book Sellout. So it has Laura Stevenson doing a cover of She by Green Day, Gladdy doing a cover of Beat Your Heart Out by The Distillers, Rat Boys doing a praise chorus by Jimmy Eat World, Warriors doing Million by Jawbreaker, The Dirty Nil doing a cover of Josie by Blink-182. I'll show you the track list right there. So just 9 tracks, and it is a fantastic compilation. I wasn't too sure when I bought this one because I don't really collect compilation records, at least on vinyl. But I recognized so many artists in this record that I had to pull the trigger. They came in on this marbled gray vinyl. So again, I recognized a lot of artists and bands on this record, so I had to buy it. And I like it because the bands themselves, they put their own spin on the songs. They're just not trying to recreate the same track from the originals. They do create their own spin on each of the tracks. The highlights, I think, in my opinion, was the song by Warriors. And if you're watching my channel, you know I'm a big fan of Warriors. They do a great cover of Million by Jawbreaker, which is an absolutely heartbreaking track. I think it's my favorite Jawbreaker song, and the band does just a fantastic rendition of that track. Other highlights are the version of Laura Stevenson doing She by Green Day. which she does a very, very mellow version of that track. She's definitely doing her own style on She, and I love it. I love that version. Gladdy is a band that you may have heard me talk a lot about in the last few months. They did have my number one record of 2022 last year, and they do a great cover of "Beat Your Heart Out" by the Distillers. Other highlights are Chris Farren does a really fun version of "Teenagers" by My Chemical Romance, completely different than the original. The Dirty Nil does a really great version of Josie by Blink-182, which is also one of my favorite tracks from Blink-182 from their second album.
Are you locked up in a world that's been planned out for you? Are you feeling like a social tool without a sense, but it's as good as it is said? I am saturated, I am segregated, there's this stitching.
Alright VC, that's all I have to show you for today, at least with some new releases that I've been picking up lately. I have been buying other records that are not new. They're actually either represses or reissues or just all the records that I've been picking up lately. I'm going to show you those in a separate video. I just wanted to focus this one on new releases for this video. So stay tuned for more videos. Thank you for watching and see you next time. Bye bye.